Good morning and aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for watching Lucy's Paradise podcast. We have a solo episode today. I have some things I would like to get into. I think the first thing that makes the most sense to discuss is the podcast party, which I just had this past Saturday. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that was in attendance for the party. It really meant a lot, and we had a lot of fun. It was a really good time. We had the Agua Babe giving us some amazing drinks. We had the Legends Only, and it was like a really good watermelon type. I don't know what she put in it. I should have read the menu, but it was so good. And we had a Pina Colada named after Kayla, which was a little sober spin on a pina colada. And then we had a little bit of rum, so if my friends did want to drink, they could. Yeah, it was a fun day. It was the storm. We were a little worried about the storm. It was quite interesting because I kept thinking that like certain things were going to become problems or issues. And then like this, I would manifest like the solution. And Kayla was here, my friend Kayla that was just on the podcast last week. I'm sure you guys will see her on the Instagram and stuff. My friend Kayla from Los Angeles has been a witness to all of my manifestations this week, so it's been quite interesting. She's like, oh my God, you've manifested every potential problem and it's been fixed. So I'll give you an example. So I was a little worried about this storm hurricane thing going on, right? If you guys don't know, now obviously I'm on Oahu, so we don't really, or we're not expected to get impacted as much, but there's always a warning because you never know. The hurricane/storm, whatever it was at first, was definitely going to hit the Big Island a little bit worse. You know, I saw videos of like flooding and stuff like that. I have a cousin on the Big Island, so I was a little concerned. I do have a lot of friends there as well. So I did send out, a few messages to my cousin to see if she was okay. I was actually intending to fly her out here for the podcast party, and I got so distracted last week. I forgot. So I'm so sorry, Mackie. I will make it up to you. My birthday's next month, so I'll probably have you come out for that or something. We'll spend time soon. Me and my cousin are really close, and I just saw her for her birthday last month. I flew over there for Big Island Pride, and I got to see a whole bunch of friends and everything. It was a really great time. But yes, it was a hectic week for me last week, especially organizing this party and being worried about like what is going on with this storm. So I had this epiphany and I said, I'm having the party at Kapalina and I do have a lot of amazing neighbors out there. I said, gosh, it would just be so great if I had a backup plan just in case. Not kidding. The next morning I got a phone call from one of my old neighbors, Jeff. Thank you so much. Shout out to Jeff. And he called me and he said, Lucy, I don't know what a podcast is. I'm an old guy. I'm retired. Don't know really what's going on with that. But if you guys need a place because the storm gets bad, just come to my house, have a fire pit in the backyard, blah, 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 blah. So just super blessed to even just get that phone call because it just like relieved a lot of stress. Like no matter what happens, there's a backup plan. If you guys know me, I think I'm good at planning parties and like planning certain things. I love to plan. I love to like plan fun events. It definitely runs in my family because my sister's an amazing host and amazing party planner, and she used to be like a wedding planner, and I'm really good at throwing parties, so it definitely runs in the family. Being able to get all these pieces together. Anyway, that was really nice. It was very, took a lot of stress off of me, which was nice. And if you know me, I like to have multiple contingency plans for the worst outcome. So a lot of the times I'll have, an idea for something, and I'll have, 3 different potential backup plans just in case that original idea doesn't work out. So in this case, that was great. However, the weather was not an issue at all. It was the most beautiful freaking day at Kapalina and Iroquois Point. Everybody was a little bit late, but it's fine. I was like, nothing's gonna ruin my day today. We had the Agua Babe, she showed up. So we had a bar, we had a DJ. It was funny because everybody was on the beach. There was a whole bunch of families right next to us on the beach, and they had their little Bluetooth speakers and their little coolers. And then my friends were out there setting up a bar and a whole DJ. So it was quite funny. We kind of checkmated everybody else's party. But it was fun. I loved just being able to dance around to like loud music for a couple hours and celebrate the podcast, celebrate everybody involved, and everybody that showed up got some fun little goodies. And making new friends was great too. Got to see my friend Matthias that I haven't seen for a minute. You guys might have seen a little clip that I posted on Instagram so far of Matthias. He'll most likely be on the podcast at some point in a future episode. Right now, the podcast is getting a bit busier. So if anybody does want to come on, send me a message on Instagram. We can discuss it. It is very helpful if you have kind of an idea of like topics you do want to discuss. I try my best to have people on that are not all identical. You know what I mean? I'd like to have like different things on. So I'm super open to different topics or suggestions, things like that. The episode that's coming out this next Friday, I did another second episode with Chas, and this time we kind of kept it. It wasn't really personal, and it wasn't really talking about Hawaii. It was more talking about like conspiracies and just random stuff like that. And that was a really fun one, and I love doing random stuff like that. I have another friend, Ree, and we've talked about like coming on here and making like another fun one where we're like eating a bunch of hot chicken wings. The only thing is I do not like spicy, so that's not going to be good for me. It's probably going to be funny for everybody else. I really do not like spicy. Like I can't handle like that big red gum. I can't even I don't like any of that. So that would be interesting. A couple of the other things I wanted to go over, though, are some of the things that have actually happened here in Hawaii or things that are going on. Kind of a coincidence that I threw my party and it's now like Labor Day weekend right after. That was not intentional at all. It just so happened to happen that way. I don't know. But it was perfect. I'm really thankful to my boss for giving me a few unexpected days off because I told her, hey, it's my friend's birthday, and I have this going on. And I do really appreciate the flexibility there, so that really made it really cool too. And then this week I have a lot more days off than I realized. And I was like, oh gosh, I have all these days off. But it's nice because I definitely need to recharge after this crazy, crazy hectic weekend. I was running around so much during the party. I felt like I didn't really feel like I had as much, like I didn't get to, it's not like I got to show up and just enjoy the party, right? Because I was the one that was like putting everything together. So I had to like make sure everything was happening. Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe I have like a control thing with throwing a party. Because like I like things to go a certain way and I have like a certain vision for certain things and that's how I want it to go. So, but when we actually sat down and I was doing like the little mini interviews for the podcast, like I felt like that was like double enjoyable because podcasting is something that I really enjoy. And then being able to do it in a different setting, testing out the cameras and the mics and stuff like that we are going to be using for TwitchCon. But yeah, happy Labor Day to everybody. And coming into that topic of TwitchCon, I'm so excited for TwitchCon. I didn't even tell Grant yet, but I got our Airbnb situated. To be honest, I had a whole vision of like what hotel I wanted to stay in. And it was everything just kind of, I was like, dang, like I have to book all of this now. I was looking at everything and then Kayla suggested Airbnb and I'm not big on Airbnb and I'll tell you guys why. I've had a few weird experiences where people have had like a display of what you're getting. And then when you show up to the Airbnb, it's not like that at all. That's only happened maybe once or twice to me, but it's made me extremely weary. I really like my privacy. I like to know that like I'm safe. So something like a more business-oriented hotel appeals to me more in that way. And that's more have to do with like safety. And I'm probably a paranoid person and that's fine. But I ended up finding this like really amazing lady who's been on there for like 8 years or something crazy. So I'm really hoping she accepts our booking. I put in there like, hey, we have no intentions of like partying at this location. I think I picked the one that has a jacuzzi. But anyway, I'm excited for it, and I hope we do end up getting it. Airbnb is also weird. Like, I think it's weird that you have to like ask them to book it, whatever. But I'm not big on Airbnb, but I'm trying it out because it saved me like $1,000. So let's see how this goes. I'm excited for TwitchCon though, because Kayla actually might meet us out there. I have a cousin that lives in San Diego, and so hopefully my cousin Sable comes out as well. And then I do got a couple buddies that are expecting to at least not necessarily attend TwitchCon, the convention itself, but come meet up with me at some point. So I know that there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on, a lot of great friends. Raquel Lilly is open to coming on the podcast while we're there. She and her band are performing at TwitchCon. So if you guys get a chance to see the Buko Boys and Raquel Lilly, please go check it out. She's an amazing performer. She's my Filipino sister, and she's a great singer. She's super talented. She was one of the first musicians on Twitch. And she's just an incredible artist and a really cool person. So I'm so blessed that we were able to become friends 2 years ago at the first TwitchCon I attended. And then we hit it off as friends, and I ended up being able to see her perform in Los Angeles because she had a performance in Los Angeles. And I was like, I'm in town. So I saw her perform, I think it was in like February of this past year. So I got a cool poster of her on my wall. I don't know if you guys remember when she got banned from Twitch for sitting on a cupcake promoting her her new like single or album or whatever she was promoting. That was pretty genius. So shout out to Raquel Lilly for that. That was freaking genius. I have that poster. She signed it. I have it on my wall. So definitely a fan, and super excited to see her again because she's just such a great person. And I was able to take my friend Jess and my brother to see her perform live, and they were like, wow, she's incredible. So it was fun. It was a good time, and I'm super excited to see her at TwitchCon. So yeah, moving on to some Hawaii stuff. There was, and it's a little sadder than talking about a party. I think the first thing to kind of talk about that makes the most sense is the strike going on, which I find ironic because it's Labor Day weekend and there was like a hotel strike going on. So basically what was happening is all of the hotel workers were striking for better wages. I'm going to pull this up. Thousands of hotel workers are on strike here. This is impacting a lot of the hotels here. Hilton, Hyatt, Marriott. I'm sure it's going to impact a lot of the tourists that have come for Labor Day weekend, which it sounds like this strike has obviously been implemented strategically. And, that's really how you force a business to listen to you as a worker, is by doing it at a very peak time. So I find this very interesting. I find it ironic. I was reading some statements here, but, a lot of them are actually from other places where they're striking, like San Francisco and Chicago. All I know is that here in Hawaii, my friend posted on Facebook that if you want to do the opposite of strike and you want to get a job and you don't have a job here and you want to get a job at a hotel, I've heard that they're giving like $28 an hour and like $16 an hour for people that like want to actually work because they're that desperate right now. So I found that interesting. She like had a whole number on there and all this stuff. I find that interesting, and that, to be honest, is probably what's going to happen. People that don't have jobs and stuff and that aren't really in the hotel industry or that are desperate here are just going to be like, well, I'll work. And yeah, we'll see what happens with this strike. I find it interesting. We'll see what more comes about with it. I know a couple people that work at hotels. Like, I have a member that works at like Turtle Bay and stuff like that, but I don't know how that's affected. I don't know if they're like involved in any of it at all, but I'm going to look up. Okay, so for Honolulu, Hilton, 3 days. So I guess it's been 3 days. Okay, so these are the The hotels on strike: Hilton Hawaiian Village, the Hyatt Regency Waikiki Beach, the Royal Hawaiian, the Sheraton Princess Kaulani, the Sheraton Waikiki Marriott, and the Waikiki Beach Marriott, and then the Westin Moana Surfrider. Looking at this list, I already realize and know that these are some of the most expensive hotels here on the island, in Waikiki specifically. So don't quote me on island. I'm talking about specifically Waikiki. The more expensive hotels that are not in Waikiki, for example, would be like Turtle Bay, Four Seasons, and those are on different parts of the island. Turtle Bay is on the North Shore, and the Four Seasons, or the Aulani Disney Resort as well, that's in Ko'olina, so that's on the west side of the island. But these look like these are the only ones that are on strike. However, these are the pricier hotels. The Royal Hawaiian, you're looking at $400-500 a night. Just so you know, that's like one of the most haunted hotels. These are just really, really just old. You know, these have been around a long time. The Princess Kaulani Hotel is super, super old hotel. I mean, geez. And just so you guys know, like, I stayed at the Sheraton. And the Royal Hawaiian is kind of like here. It's the big pink hotel, if you guys don't know. And the Sheraton is like right next to it. I mean, they kind of share almost like the same drive area, right? And I stayed at the Sheraton one time, this was a couple years ago, like 3 years ago. My friend and I think she wanted to like smoke or something. I think she was a stoner at the time. She was like, "Oh yeah, let's go find a lighter." And this was like 2 a.m. We're up all night partying and stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm sure somebody has a lighter. So we go downstairs to the lobby. And we asked some of the workers, and nobody really has a lighter, and, you know, everything's closed because it's, like, late. So we end up walking around for a second. I see another hotel worker, but I think he works at the other hotel, which is the Royal Hawaiian. So I was like, "Hey, sir, like, sorry to bother you. Do you have a lighter, or do you know, like, where we could grab one?" And he was walking, like, back to the Royal Hawaiian. So I get in the conversation with this guy, and I thought of this story because of talking about it being haunted and stuff. But this guy worked for the Royal Hawaiian. I don't remember his name, and I wouldn't really want to put it out there anyway. But older gentleman, worked for, you know, we got to chatting. He ended up finding us one of the banquet lighters from the Royal Hawaiian, and I still have it to this day. Like, he gave it to me, and I still have it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, just keep it." And it literally says like Royal Hawaiian banquet hall or whatever on it, and I've kept it. I don't know if that like proves I'm a pack rat, or like weird things have meaning to me like that. So anyway, it still works, and I still use it to light my candles and my sage. But this guy gave it to me. I'm chatting with him. Come to find out, he has worked for this hotel for, I want to say, like, it has to have been over 10 years. I remember I was extremely impressed with how long he was with this hotel. I don't think it was 20, but I want to say like a long time. You know, this dude's like, you know, living here, not going anywhere, like, you know, like freaking local resident, right? And we start talking, and I ask him this question about like, because it was late at night. So I was like, "Yeah, man, does like any weird stuff happen?" This dude opened his iPhone and showed me, I shit you not, he showed me video upon video upon video of like creepy things that have happened to him while he's been working there. And I was like baffled. Every video gave me chicken skin. He like gave me a little like, "Oh, so this one night I was doing this and there was no wind and all the rocking chairs were rocking." And I was like, "What?" And the dude had things on video, and I was like, holy shit. So if you have ever denied or thought to yourself that, nah, these hotels aren't haunted, I promise you, I have seen videos, and from someone like that, that's like the source. That's like somebody who would be the person to have all that. And this dude showed me all of it on his phone. So I hope one day I can talk to this guy again. However, I was there. I've seen it. I'm definitely a believer in that kind of thing, clearly. But I will never forget some of these videos. I remember one of them he showed me, somebody like complained about a fan or something. He went into one of like the basement rooms to go figure out why this fan was on. or like what this noise was. So he goes in there, this fan is spinning, and you can see the wall and the cord of the fan, it's not even plugged in to the wall. And he has this video of this fan just going, and like that was the noise or whatever, and like they can't figure out how to turn it off. And like, I don't know. Now that could be like simple explanation type. I got it, but I'm just saying that's one example of multiple videos this dude had on his phone. Anyway, believe it, do you want what you want with that. That was interesting. Hotels are haunted. So I don't know about you, but you better be paying me good money to work at these hotels, especially if they're haunted. I am not working a night shift on a haunted hotel. So it's interesting. But we'll see what happens with this strike. I don't know what's going on. But if, there has to be something's got to give with just the cost of living here in comparison to the minimum wage. I mean, it's already pretty out of balance. So these hotels are charging people $500-$600 a night, $430 a night, when there's a deal. And these hotels are booked throughout the year. I mean, everyone wants to come to Hawaii, right? These workers should be able to at least make a comfortable wage. I mean, it only makes sense. But we'll see how much these hotels are willing to struggle without their workers and people being on strike. And I don't know much more of the details on that, but we shall see. Another one, really sad, dude, is this Waianae shooting that ended up happening just a couple days ago. I read a recent article posted about 15 minutes ago, actually, because loved ones grieving those, and they called it a shooting rampage in Waianae. Let's see, what's the best way to describe this story? Waianae, following a rampage of violence, friends and family are grieving the loss of loved ones who were fatally shot at a weekend gathering. Really sad that this is just like people are having like a party, and something like this is going on. Apparently one of the neighbors ended up getting upset about a complaint, and so he starts ramming their cars, and then the neighbor whose cars were getting rammed went out and shot him. So, I mean, yeah, this is a pretty interesting story. So, and I'll kind of like retell it. So, let's see, hold on, let me go back to the top here. The rampage began after the Kiamo family complained about a party on Hiram Silva's property. The family didn't have problems with Hiram, the owner of this property itself. It is just the people who's running it were not being respectful. That's when Hiram plowed into cars with a front loader and opened fire. Okay, so he opened fire. So he was already shooting. Okay. Killing 3 women and critically injuring 2 others. Okay, a Kiamo family member then shot and killed Hiram and was arrested for murder. He's since been released. Okay, so that clears up the story a bit. So yeah, I don't know about you, but you're opening fire on my house, like I'm gonna shoot you back, Really, I don't know what possessed this person to plow into people's cars and just start firing, It's just like, dang, was it that serious? But it sounds really, this is just a crazy story. It is tragic and lives have been lost and they're living in fear right now. Can you imagine just like being the family whose guy got shot, and then you like the guy who killed him like got released and he's like back in his house next door? I think that's the weirdest part of this whole story, is that they're freaking neighbors, dude. Like no matter how this unfolds, like that's crazy. It's sad because, Hawaii's culture has really been centered around family. And I think a portion of that is respecting not just your family, but others' family. And I want to talk about this. You know, I went to these MMA fights called Battle of the Barracks. It was Battle of the Barracks 3. I've now been to Battle of the Barracks 2 and Battle of the Barracks 3 because I heard about the original Battle of the Barracks. I don't think I even knew about it. I don't think I could even have gone. But I went to Battle of the Barracks 2, and the reason I bring this up is because I'm talking about fighting as a sport, you know, fighting as a sport where these guys fight each other and it's like war and their families are there. And as soon as the fight is over, like everyone's just like high-fiving each other and it's one atmosphere. And I don't know, it's just really interesting to think about. You know, and I think about when I was on the special reaction team and how when we would have beef with each other, like we would just kind of wrestle it out, you know, and once we wrestled it out, like, you know, we weren't really trying to like really harm each other. It was more of like getting that tension out of our bodies, you know, like, and then we realized like, hey man, I was mad at you for this dumb reason. And I think below the surface of all of that, you know, you have like such an ego about like why you're mad. And like I've really I like to talk about this. I like to talk about like temper and anger and fighting and this kind of stuff, because there was a time in my life where I was fighting a lot. I think a lot of it was me perhaps like acting out. So I don't know, you know, a lot of people might know me from different stages of my life. And I'm going to talk about, I played hockey for 10 years, and I'm basically going to say that a lot of those 10 years, I was not a really good person and I hurt a lot of people. And like I'm just a different person now than I was then, and I don't like condone fighting and stuff like that anymore. I think that an organized like or any organization that does fighting as some sort of sport where there's rules and regulations and a lot of respect, and the fight world itself is something that I'm have looked into, and things that I'm a part of now that you know, there's a lot of value in it. You know, it's different. It's different than just losing your temper and fighting somebody at the bar. You know what I mean? There's nothing impressive about that. I think these jiu-jitsu black belts, you know, are a lot more impressive than anyone that just thinks that, you know, throws their shirt off and thinks they can fight anybody at the bar. It's like, we just think you're funny. Like, real fighters think you're funny, and we're not trying to fight at the bar. You know what I mean? Like, we're just like, okay. And I don't even really consider myself like a quote unquote fighter, because a lot of the times that I got into fights or hurt other people, it was like just so ego and so like very unhinged behavior that like I would never like act that way now. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting to go to like something like Battle of the Barracks, see like these amazing fighters that have like trained for this, that, you know, don't hold on to any of the anger and stuff. And then it's interesting to read about the shooting in Waianae, where like, man, they really could have just squashed that in an octagon real quick, you know? But people literally have died. And I think, you know, like, life is extremely precious, and it's really sad for our community that Hawaii, like, people in Hawaii are resolving things like that, you know, and they need to like really fucking knock it off. Like, I get it. There's a lot of trauma here, and there's a lot of struggle here. We're all like struggling in our own way, you know, trying to like live in paradise and prioritize our family and all these things and protect our family, you know, for sure. I'm sure the guy that came out and ended up shooting that guy, I'm sure he's not feeling great about it. I don't know. But, you know, I mean, I don't think any, you know, a lot of people, most normal people wouldn't feel good about shooting their neighbor, right? But all I'm saying is that we need to do better here in Hawaii in terms of resolving things. Every single person, especially if you have any type of cultural pride, Hawaiian pride, family pride, if you want to represent Hawaii in the proper way, and this is just my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, I think we need to do it in a way of aloha. I think that we are nice until we realize that we're being taken advantage of or people aren't liking our niceness, but there's other ways to resolve things. So that's a really, really, really sad situation, and I'm tired of hearing about that stuff happening here in Hawaii. We need to bring aloha back, and we need to focus on peace, love, and positivity, and the culture. All of that is just really hateful and dark and evil, and that's not good. You know what I mean? People have lost their lives, and that's so sad. You know, like, you can't bring a life back when someone dies. You can't bring that back. So yeah, I definitely encourage everybody to just read on that story, you know, because it is very sad, and it is something that it has just happened in our community, and take something from that, and please resolve whatever beefs you have, man, in just in a better way, you know, like, talk it out, you know, go do like a quick 2-round wrestling match that's no one's gonna get seriously hurt, and then just like let it go, dude. It's not that serious. Life is too short for us to be like battling each other like that and like shooting our neighbors up. That's just like super sad. So so I don't cry on this podcast or something. Bring it back to more positive things. There are also a lot of really fun things to do on this island. I just went to 604 the other evening. I got to show Kayla a little bit of, you know, Waianae. I got to show her Waianae because Waianae does have some of the most beautiful sunsets. And so we had like a really cool dinner, and they have karaoke there, which I didn't know, but they have karaoke there, I guess, certain nights. And it's just beautiful. If you guys get a chance to go to any of these places, definitely check out 604 in Waianae. It's so beautiful. All the other 604s are beautiful as well. It's just a different backdrop because you get like a nice beach view. And check out Skybox. I love going to Skybox. If there's a night that you guys want to go and you want me to come, I will totally meet you there. I freaking love that place. I didn't know I was going to love that place so much, but I do. My friends love going there. Kayla and I did not end up going out last night. Thank God. She fell asleep. Thank God. I was like torn. I was like half and half. I just worked all day, and I just wanted to do a million other things, and I have like so much homework that I haven't done my first week of homework, so I'm a bad student. But for those of you that don't know, I am also in school full time for business. So I go to Hawaii Pacific University, and being in school and completing college it's only really been a feat for me and something I've wanted to do because my dad always wanted me to finish college. It wasn't really that I cared about college. When I was 16, I got offered a modeling scholarship, and I looked at my parents and they were like, "No, you are not going to be a model. You are going to finish school." And I was like, but I'm so cute though. And that's just, my parents were like, you need to prioritize like getting an education and being a smart person. And so, yeah, we'll see. I'm finally getting my degree after a lot of years of screwing around and not doing it. So it's a lot to balance sometimes, but when I do get a chance, I'll be at Skybox having fun. But again, I can't always have fun because I have to like prioritize all that important crap. But hopefully this wasn't the most boring podcast you've ever listened to, because we were supposed to have a guest on that didn't end up making it. It was pretty sad because I'm excited for her debut MMA fight. But, you know, it just is what it is. If you guys do come on the podcast, I can't wait to talk about all of your different interests and ideas. And yeah, give me some ideas too for like what we should do for future podcasts. I love getting to know people, but I also love like having a bunch of fun on here. And if you get a chance to watch the Paradise podcast, like party podcast that we did live on the beach, please let me know what you think about that. I thought it looked really cool. I'm really excited that we were able to even pull it off. And yeah, hopefully we were interesting on there. I don't even remember what we talked about really. But I did watch Kayla's episode back, and that one was super funny. I hope you guys found it funny too. Oh yeah, one last thing before I go I wanted to mention. Cass and I, when we did our second podcast, and we were talking about, and really mostly I wanted to talk about like Bigfoot and aliens and all of that type of stuff. But I started it off by talking about ghosts. And I want to mention this because I do want you guys to kind of like watch this video and tell me what you think. The audio got messed up. We don't know if that had any relation, right? Like we pissed off some ghosts or something. But if you listen to one of the clips I posted on my Instagram, there's like a weird sound and we can't figure out what it is. Is this a coincidence? Are we going crazy? Or is it a ghost? Is it a ghosty little Casper visiting us? I don't know. Do I want to talk about ghosts again? Not really. Little creeped out. I might put the ghost stuff on a pause. Not trying to piss off any spirits. If you guys don't know, I'm very spiritual and I believe in all that stuff. And I believe that like respect goes a long way, and I'm not trying to piss off any spirits or have any demons attached to me or anything like that. But please let me know what you think. And I'm totally open if you don't agree with anything I'm saying. Argue with me in the comments. I will argue back. I do invite an argument. I love a good Facebook beef, Let's go. Just kidding. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope I inspired you to keep the Aloha spirit in you at all times, solve things in a better way, be a better person every day. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching Lucy's Paradise Podcast. Aloha.